What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I want to thank you guys again for joining us for another helpful video. For those that are subscribed already, you guys pretty much know this is something that we've done before. So pretty much I just go live. I talk about the whole thought process of going through my watch list, identifying potential. And for those that are watching this video specifically for, the 3 simple steps on how to find the best penny stocks, this video is probably going to be about 10 to 15 minutes long. I definitely don't want to waste your guys' time for those that don't want to, in a sense, just see every step played out. If you guys just kind of want a simplified, what are the 3 steps? I'll make it very simple for you guys. So we have a group, it's TechBud Solutions. We're sitting a little bit over 21,700 members now worldwide. And the thing that we do best is we share best practices, share mistakes, and effort to promote growth. Now, I'm going to be performing this technical analysis in a way that I see, the highest rate of return. And I'm more of a technical trader and more of a conservative trader. In no way do you guys, or should you guys mimic anything that it is that I'm doing. I really want you guys to, in a sense, just kind of see my whole thought process on what it is that we do to identify potential. We traded SPI today. SPI was an extremely profitable stock that we were able to make money on from the different dips and stuff like that. And it's kind of just an idea that, again, I've shared with this group, and it's helped a lot of people out. So again, what are the 3 steps? So the first step, well, it's very simple. It's learn, plan, and execute. So what I mean by that is you need to learn how to trade first, right? Then you plan. And how do you plan? Well, you identify potential, and then you set up a plan for success, like minimizing loss. And then what's the last one? It's execute. So the importance of, you having a plan on where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you'll cut your losses, and sticking to that plan, staying disciplined to it, and not breaking it, regardless of what happens. No matter how much more you think the stock will rise, no matter how much more or how much you believe a stock is going to bounce, the importance of actually just sticking to your plan from beginning to end, and understanding that, in the long run, consistently, being able to cut your losses short and lock in profits consistently, with the power of compounding interest, that can be a very powerful tool that you can utilize to, in a sense, act as a catalyst to grow your account. And it's something that we've seen just so common now with this $1,000 challenge that we started within the group. If you guys aren't a part of that already or have not heard anything about it, we started this $1,000 challenge. We did a little test on certain members within our group, and we saw that the average was about 1,000 to 1,500 was the average account within each member of TechBud Solutions. Now, starting with 1,000, 1,500, I used to trade with over, $30,000 and didn't have to worry about the PDT rule, especially within the Robinhood account. Now, to put myself in your guys' shoes, I started this $1,000 challenge, removed that money and put it into my Fidelity account, which I still day trade with that. But I've also now day trade with my Robinhood account, which initially started with this $1,000. And this whole experience of completing this first month, we've been able to, in a sense, talk about, our best practices and my mistakes, an effort for you guys to learn from that. And if you guys are doing paper trading, simulation trading, whatever it is that you guys are doing to still kind of get your feet wet, I want to make sure that, because now I'm putting myself in your shoes when it comes to this PDT rule, because that's one of the most, in a sense, I guess, biggest drawbacks when having an account that's a little bit under $25,000. Really comes down to, how consistent and how disciplined you have to be with this $1,000 challenge. If you have a Robinhood instant, right, you have $1,000 that you initially start with. You have 3 day trades within a 5-day period, meaning that you can buy and sell or sell and buy within, or you can do that one time or 3 times out of a 5-day period. So it becomes a little bit more difficult to be able to, get in and out and cut losses, because sometimes people might find themselves to be cutting losses a little bit sooner or more often than they'd want. And I feel like a lot of people, especially with this $1,000 challenge, don't care too much about the loss that they're seeing within their account of the 1 or 2%, but find more value in their pattern day trade, right? So I just, again, want to talk about what I've been able to do good, what I've been able to do bad, and again, what I did good today. So I'm going to go through my watch list, through my TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim, in a sense, platform within my computer. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and I want you guys to kind of see my whole thought process, again, on using the different indicators that I use to identify potential, how I plan out my trades in a sense like where I identify the support, where I identify the resistance. And not only do I want to be the only person that, in a sense, you guys use as a resource, but there's so many talented traders within our group. So I want to make sure that in this live chat, although a lot of you guys are going to be, communicating, that's going to be 100%, great. I want to make sure that in the comment section that if you guys can find, 1 to 2 minutes to put aside and talk about what you did good today, what you did bad, and an area of improvement, right? Talk about your best practice, talk about your mistakes, and how you can improve. Not only do I think the traders and viewers of this video can benefit from that, because they're going to be exposed to certain mistakes that they can avoid later on because they know how you overcame it, and it also gives you, the writer or the person that's talking about it, I feel like psychologically, like when you're writing this out, it makes sense to you that, wow, I can really avoid this by simply doing something different. And although you might already think that writing it out or actually talking about it can kind of almost just create that spark that will enable you to no longer repeat this certain mistake, right? We have really 3 rules when it comes to our group, and that's we don't hold a penny stock overnight. We only trade stocks that we find 10% potential in, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then the last thing is always cutting losses short. So in the long run, if you want to be locking in profits or see growth within your account, locking in profits are key to your success, and so is cutting losses. So the only way you're going to see growth in your account, and let me know if this makes sense to you guys, how are you going to in the long run see growth within your account when you're only seeing, or when you're cutting losses at like 5-10%, but you're locking in profits at like 4 or 8%. Overall, if you're cutting losses at 5-10%, which is greater than your actual profits, in the long run, your account's actually going to decrease in value. And I want to make sure that we again promote growth within our account and locking in profits consistently, cutting losses short, so always less than what your overall profit percentage goal is. But I'm going to be sharing these different files with you guys that I've created in a sense for everyone that's watching this. If you guys want to be a part of Tech Solutions, the link is provided for you down below. Again, you just have to have a Facebook platform. It's 100% free. It's, you log in with your Facebook, you ask to join, we accept you, and then we have a series of group chats that you guys can utilize to network with one another. And you guys might be asking, what's different from this than any other platform? You can ask any trader within our group, what they think about this and what they enjoy most. And I think the most feedback that or the best feedback or most consecutive feedback that I've actually received is the welcoming environment that we provide for new and experienced traders, making sure that we are so focused on helping one another out, but also talking about our best practices, talking about our mistakes, and we provide, and again, a transparent platform that we're really here to try to help one another out. Not me specifically, but everyone within this group. Not only me am I trying to assist you guys. There's thousands of you, right? So now all I had to do was provide a community with one simple message that I wanted everyone to express, and that's helping one another out. And I think providing that community has really helped us grow as a community and as a team. So I'm going to stop just going off on the tangent, and I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm going to be using. I'm using the TD or Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. I'm going to be using the group chats, and the reasons I use the group chats are for exposure. So a lot of people talk about different stocks. I simply add those stocks to my watch list, and then later, like today, dedicate about 15 to 20 minutes every day in identifying potential or doing these technical analysis. And it really comes down to how much you want it. So every time that you have 15-20 minutes, although it might not be something that you might not be so motivated to do, in the long run, if you want to treat this as a career, you have to understand that you have to be putting work to this specific market. And I can promise you, if you're only putting 15 to 20 minutes, in reality, you're going to need a lot more. And it takes a lot of time in the back end to actually, it's kind of like a athlete, right? They do a lot of exercise, and they plan out and work out, and it comes to a game that can be a couple hours or a couple minutes, that's when they show and kind of show everything that they've been able to do, or everything that they've been working for. The same thing with us. We work as hard as we can and learning the most we can, planning the most, managing our risk, trying to find the best stocks. And then when it comes to the market open, I only trade for about 2 hours actively, and I make sure that I make those 2 hours count as much as I can. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen. I hope you guys, in a sense, find what I'm talking about valuable. If not, then I totally understand. But let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna be sharing my screen. Again, once you guys get accepted to the TechBud Solutions Facebook platform, you simply have to click under Files. So you can click on Files, and this prime berry pick checklist that I'm going to be talking about right here, you guys could actually find simply by scrolling down, and it's actually right here, the PVP checklist. And if you guys are a part of the $1,000 challenge, you might actually want to download this as well, because it's going to be a growth plan on helping you stay on track and stuff like that. So the reason I use the prime berry pick checklist is there's a bunch of stocks that you're going to have in your watch list, which I have on my TD Ameritrade app right here. But it can be very overwhelming, especially focusing even just on 3 or 4 stocks, because you're one person, right? So it comes down to being simple and simplifying it for yourself. So what I usually like to do is after market hours, as in right now the market's it closes at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and then after market hours goes for about 2 hours at 3 p.m. After the market closes, I perform a series of technical analysis, and I'm going to erase these because these are all from yesterday. And I write the stocks out of all the stocks in my watch list that I think that are at their prime. And in doing that, I filter out all these stocks that are not, in a sense, in the best according to my own opinion. And I want to focus on solely the best. So again, how do I do that? Is I'm going to identify support, resistance. I follow up with these stocks during pre-market hours, making sure that my planning went according to plan. And if they don't, then again, then I create, I continue to, in a sense, filter out more stocks within this. So let me just go ahead and start doing it, give you guys an example. Volume is a huge indicator that I like to use, and the reason I like to use it is because I want to make sure that I can get in and out of a stock pretty quickly. Although FTR might not show the healthiest amount of volume, it shows a very consistent trend. And again, in no way do you guys have to trade anything that you guys don't see potential in, but just hear me out on this and see if what I'm talking about makes sense to you guys. So I'm going to go back 5 days. Again, we're looking at day trades. Within the past 5 days, even if we go back to 10 days, 20 days, let's go back to 20 days. It has gone below, obviously, 130. So is 130 an extremely solid support? Well, no, nothing's, again, at 100%. So there's always going to be a risk about investing, but it comes down to how well you plan it. So it has gone below 130, but we know about 128 to 130 is a support. I was talking to my buddy Sergio, and I was talking to my friend Jeremy, and we actually talked about FTR and what we saw potential in. I thought overall within these past couple of days, it's been holding pretty well above 130, and it's been bouncing. So if we go back about simply 3 days with 1 minute candlesticks, why does it look like that? Well, 3 days with 1 minute candlesticks, you can see that there's been solid bounces around 128 to 130, and it hits highs of about 137 to even 135. But this margin of profit that it builds, if you guys see right here, it's about 4.35% there. And then let's say it bounces again from 128 or 130 back up to 137, which was the resistance that it had today, at 6.52%. And again, for this $1,000 challenge, you only need to be locking in 2.34%. So this is why I find FTR to be an attractive stock. And why is it, and how can I minimize my risk, right, or minimize my loss? It all comes down to that. So setting up a plan. This is one of the most important, in a sense, just techniques that I've been able to develop. It's a very simple technique. It's really just identifying the potential, which I already did within the past 2 to 3 days. So within the past 2 to 3 days, 128 to 130 seems to be a solid support, and 137 to 138 seems to be a solid resistance. So I know the support, and I know the resistance, and that's really just it. So now it comes out to planning out my trade. So for tomorrow, what am I predicting, or in a sense, kind of thinking that FTR is going to do? So again, I'm going to follow up with this stock during pre-market hours and making sure that it doesn't drop below 128. But I know that support is going to be around. It hit lows right as the market closed at 129. It ended up closing at 131, so it bounced, and that's really what we want to see. We want to make sure that it holds above 130. And if it starts to show signs of upward momentum, then we can simply get in. My target price point is about 130. Target sell price is going to be around 135 to 137, and I'm going to have a stop loss at 128. why am I gonna have a stop loss over 128? Again, I'm a little bit more of a conservative trader. I like to minimize my loss right away, and I'm gonna set up my plan. So let's say I put FTR right here. My support is gonna be at 128. And my resistance is around, let's go 137 based on the past day. So let's say my purchase price, if it bounces at 128 and then starts to show signs of upward momentum, what I mean by that is, if it hits 128 and then starts to come back up and it shows that it bounced, understanding that it bounced and that it's showing that 128 is a valid support, then that can give me the, in a sense, indication that 128 is the support. It's showing signs of upward momentum and it's most likely going to continue to rise. Does it mean that it's going to rise 100%? No, but that's why you have your stop loss to minimize your risk. So that is why, let's say we buy in at 130, our target sell price is going to be at 137. Let's say at the high end, and then the stop loss at 1.279. And the reason, again, that's right below the support. So what I mean by that is if it goes below 128, that means it broke the support, and it's probably going to continue to drop to that $1.19 support that we saw about 20 days ago that I'm talking to you about right here. So if it breaks the support, we might see a downward trend back to this 120. And again, you don't want to ride it all the way down and hope for the best that it comes back up. So that's why we cut losses short and then get back in when it bounces at 120 or wherever it ends up bouncing at. So that's where my stop loss would be. So again, I buy in at 130, try to sell at 137, stop loss at 127.9. My percentage risk, it calculates it for you within this Excel sheet that I created for you guys. Percentage risk is 1.62%. Percentage for profit is 5.11%. And with this $1,000, your max loss is going to be a little bit more than $15. It's going to be about like $16.20. But potential for profit is $51.90. Again, these are just perfect numbers, and in no way does your account have to reflect this. And that's pretty much all I do. So I do that, and the reason that I found FTR to be, in a sense, so to have so much potential for tomorrow is simply because of the previous trends that it's been shown within the past 3 days. So I feel like the risk to go for FTR with the low risk of 1.6% with a high, I think, reward for buying in at 130 as it bounces and selling at 137. Waiting for the actual bounce, not worried about getting in at the lowest point, is a really good indicator that I've been able to develop and make sure that I'm not always trying to catch it at 128, because again, you don't want to stop loss out when you don't have to. And you want to make sure that the stock or whatever it is that you're investing in shows indication that it's appreciating in value. And if it continues to show a downward trend, then that's not necessarily good, right? But when it bounces and it starts to show an upward trend, then that shows an indication within that day that it's most likely going to come back up to the resistance that it previously had, as trends tend to repeat themselves. And I'm going to simply continue going down the list. And again, I'm using the indication of volume to from top to bottom. So I simply click on volume like this, and then from top to bottom it shows me the stocks that are that show the highest volume. One that I'm going to be very interested in tomorrow is JNUG, and the reason why is I'm not too sure if you guys actually saw. I'm sure you guys are all aware if you guys are trading and stuff like that, but it was actually like news that President Trump is going to separate himself from a certain, I think over like 200 countries are within this Paris. I don't know the exact name of this certain group, but it's an agreement that we've had for quite a while, and Trump just broke it, and a lot of people are actually kind of backlashing on it. There's people like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and stuff like that. So the reason that I find JNUG or JDST to be really in high demand for tomorrow, really going to see a lot of volume, is because of the uncertainty within our economy, because of that decision that President Trump has, and the in a sense correlation that will have to the prices of gold. And JNUG and JDST being inverse ETFs, if one goes down, the other one goes up. So it's going to be during pre-market hours that we're going to see which one's going to, in a sense, be profitable. So I think that's going to be a good one that I'm going to follow up on. I'm going to, in a sense, perform a series of technical analysis within a majority of the stocks within my watch list. And the video would be extremely long if I were to actually capture that. But I really just wanted to create a very simple, in a sense, breakdown of what it is that I do, kind of just explaining my whole thought process for you guys. And I hope you guys, in a sense, learned something. And if you guys did, please give the video a thumbs up. If you guys want to share it with someone that you think can benefit from this video and the information that was being expressed, then we'd really appreciate that. And if not, then we totally understand. And if you guys want us to create content that might be better or a little bit more specific to your taste, there's nothing wrong with that. Please feel free to reach out to me within the TechBot Solutions group chat. I did have a very busy day, and I will have a very busy day, very busy days for the weekend and stuff like that, as that's the time that I tend to work the most aside from TechBot Solutions, right? Aside from day trading, since I do different things on the side. But I'd love to help out any way that I can to answer any questions or to create content specifically for you guys. One of the videos that was recommended by certain members within our group is actually doing a tutorial again about how to use the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. So I'd be more than open to actually do that. But let me know what you guys want me to create, and I'd love to do it for you guys. Other than that, let's go ahead and see. I'm just trying to read some of your comments and stuff like that. It looks like you guys are having your own conversation, so that's great. Oh, Sunset Passion's like, he corrected me. He's like the Paris Agreement, so. Okay, but other than that, that's really just it. So again, I want to remind you guys that the importance of planning out your trades and the importance of you as the investor identifying potential. And that's how I'm going to end the video. We're talking about 3 simple steps about how to find the best penny stocks, and that comes down to you as the investor to determine that as what is the best stock for you. So develop certain criteria, and you're only going to learn this as you continue to develop yourself as a trader. So maybe simulation trading or paper trading, which means no real monetary risk, can be an ideal count for you as you get your feet wet. But it really comes down to you identifying potential yourself, setting up a plan where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're going to cut your losses, and then sticking to that plan. Not getting greedy, meaning that not actually selling at where you're selling. Saying that you were going to sell and kind of hoping that it pushes a little bit more. Just lock in profits, and not also forgetting to cut your losses or setting that stop loss and hoping for the best that it bounces back up. You guys have to understand that this is a quick market, and you guys need to be getting in and out, specifically if your plan or whatever it is that you created is not actually developing the way that you thought. So again, please only trade what you guys see potential in. Never trade based on anyone else's opinion. I can't stress that enough. And there's nothing wrong with sharing your ideas. So that's why we have this group. That's why we have this, platform that you guys can utilize for exposure. But it comes down to you as the investor to determine what you invest your hard-earned money in. And that's why I want to stress that so much, because I want to make sure that none of you are, hyped up or misled into trading anything that, you are not comfortable with. If you don't understand what you're investing in, if you don't understand why it's a good buy, if you don't understand why, a certain price is a good sell, then don't trade it. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back, dedicating a little bit more time to learning, specifically because I feel like a lot of you, even if it's like 3-4 years, whatever it is, like you guys have time to learn. Just know that this is an extremely profitable market, as well as it is a very risky market for those that really don't know what it is that they're doing. And the best way that you will have a chance to be successful is to know the most you potentially can. And it really comes down to how much time and how much you're willing to put into that. So I hope you guys understand that, and I hope you guys see how much I want you guys to succeed. But it really comes down to you as the investor, the entrepreneur, and as the individual to put time to learn as much as you can with whatever it is that you guys choose to invest in, aside even from just investing in stocks, but whatever it is that you guys want to be successful in. And I wish you guys all the best, but it really comes down to the work ethic that you guys have, and how you guys plan out your time and what you guys choose to dedicate your time to, and sticking to it and being disciplined. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. It's pretty late for you guys, so for those that are Eastern Standard Time, this video will be going back into my YouTube channel. So if you guys didn't capture the couple first minutes, then just know that it will be reposted. Other than that, I mean, if you guys can like and subscribe, we'd love to have you along, and I'd love to be a part of your success. But if not, then, again, we totally understand. And if there's anything else that I can do for you guys, again, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Thank you guys again, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys.